Let's begin by telling you that the Department of State Services, DSS, arrested Omoyele Sowore, the convener of the #RevolutionNow movement at the Murtala Muhammed International Airport in Lagos. Sowore was detained on Sunday immediately after arriving in Nigeria. His arrest follows the leak of a DSS memo ordering his apprehension upon his return to the country. In response, the leaked report, Sowore criticized the DSS for targeting him, stating that he had planned to return to Nigeria very soon. Sowore, who had been in the United States with his family, arrived in Lagos at approximately 9:43 West African time. However, he was subsequently released after he was quizzed by officials of the secret police. Earlier, News Central's Dapo Adegboye spoke with Omoyele Sowore at the Murtala Muhammed International Airport.
When I arrived, they seized my passport. The immigration guy seized my passport when I presented my passport for processing. And then after standing around for a while, I asked them, what's the problem? They said there is some notation on my passport that that needs clarification from Abuja. And I said, who is that? Who put the... Of course I knew. And they said they're going to they started making all kinds of calls. And then they asked me to sit down at the place. I sat down beside them. After a while, I went back to them and asked, what's going on? And it's been like 30 minutes at this point. And they said they're still waiting for Abuja to clarify. And then they took me to their office where I was briefly detained. And then... I tweeted before going into that office, and some 10 minutes later they came and said, oh, it's been resolved. You can go. So I went to try and get my bag. Of course, one of my bag was missing. I hope it's not the DSS that stole it. But
you said one of your bag was missing.
Yes.
Is it still missing or have you...
Missing, but I've incidented with the airline to look for it. Because the tracking on my phone from the airline shows that the bag arrived. So, but like I said, I don't want to. I hope they didn't try to do something stupid with my bag, because they might go and plant some things inside of my bag and claim I brought drugs into the country. I don't do drugs. To those of us who fought for democracy, that what we fought for has not come to happen in reality, and we just have to keep fighting until we get what is desirous. And I don't know, even if the democracy as we know it now, globally, is even desirous anymore, because it's been hijacked everywhere, including from the source. They no longer even do credible elections in the US anymore. It's just crazy. But what is known to us as our own way of interacting and accepting governance is democracy in this country. And that's the basis of our engagement and interaction with governance. So that's what we continue to fight for. But I'm not surprised, even though I feel sad that in 2024, people are still being hounded. Protesters have been arraigned and prosecuted for treason, in which they ridiculously wrote in the charge sheet that they were trying to overthrow the government with placards. And these guys are still in detention. Even when they're granted bail, the judges granted bail, given conditions that they know the protesters cannot meet. So these are part of the reason we must take our country back. And it's the reason I can never, and I'm saying it, I'm not bragging, I'm not running away from anybody. It is either we get it right, or we all perish.
In a bid to harness the power of art and creativity for activism, a social impact organization has launched an initiative to advocate for democratic reforms in Nigeria. The group says the initiative aims to provide a platform for young Nigerians to express their dissatisfaction with the current state of affairs in the country through art. News Central's Joshua Imarai has details of the report.
The 2024 Costival Festival presents a distinctive perspective on the convergence of art and activism in Nigeria. Speaking at the opening of the festival, The head of the initiative says the artistic expression on display would serve as a rallying call for civic participation beyond traditional political channels.
Over the course of the next 2 days, we'll be exhibiting pieces from 30 Nigerian artists and also screening 4 films from across Africa. And these pieces, these films, would just be communicating the same thing, the same things, which is that young people are disillusioned, they're tired, and they want better. They want a true democracy, really. And what we're trying to do with bringing young people here is to let them know that you can be a part of these processes. You can lend your voice to democracy, to fighting for democracy through art, through creativity.
The exhibition's curator says that the initiative will play a crucial role in enabling young Nigerians to engage with governance at various levels.
All of the artists have decided to engage with the state of Nigeria from their different points of view. We have some of the artists that are focused on education, the deprivation of education, the inability of students to speak out when they feel that they're being maltreated. We're looking at democracy as a holistic process, how it affects our daily lives to the expansive way it affects us through governmental policy.
In one of the most effective ways that activists and people in art have actually used to express themselves in time past. And if you look at people like Fela Anikulapo-Kuti, and you look at a couple of other artists that use art to basically represent or speak the minds of people, art communicates even faster than the way you will sit down and write an article and say, oh, this article should have effectively reach out to this particular segment or this particular audience.
They further explained that art pieces on display which address issues such as police brutality while also depicting the Nigeria the youth aspire to see. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Away from that, the feud between the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and Dango Refinery seems to be over as it relates to the distribution and supply of petrol. Now, this comes as the national oil firm, in partnership with the private refinery, will be loading into over 300 trucks on Sunday. And at a press conference with journalists in Lagos, the NNPCL Executive Vice President Downstream, Dakpo Shegun, emphasized the market forces determine the set price of PMS and not NNPC.
Dangote has committed to volumes. We have committed to off-taking. We have a vessel, MT Binta Saleh, going to the Dangote SBM, probably sailing from tomorrow to the Dangote SBM. We have trucks. By now, there should be 300 or more trucks right there waiting in front of Dangote Refinery to lift the PMS. There's a false expectation, a misinformed expectation that when Dangote Refinery starts to produce, there will be a drop in price, or it should be sold cheaply. Every business is set up to make profit, and then every business must cover its cost if it has to be sustainable. The crude is bought for a particular price, and the product has to be sold for a particular price.
The Executive Vice President Downstream of NNPCL speaks further.
There is a price. There is a market price for every commodity. If the commodity is being made available to the citizens of Nigeria at a price lower than that market price, somebody is bearing it. It's not magic. It's not like the difference goes away. Somebody is bearing it, and this is a global phenomenon. So the price that is being paid today is still lower than the cost.
In the meantime, marketers are calling for direct access to petrol from the Dangote Refinery, criticizing the Nigerian National Petroleum Company's dominant control over the market. Chinedu Ukadike, The National Publicity Secretary of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria urged that the market should remain open to all in line with the NNPCL's earlier willing buyer, willing seller commitment. The NNPCL has stated that it was not the sole buyer of products from the Dango Refinery and that the refinery was free to sell its petrol to any marketer. However, just a week later, the federal government announced that the NNPCL will be the exclusive buyer of petrol from the refinery. At a press briefing in Abuja on Friday, Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, confirmed that marketers interested in purchasing petrol will need to go through the National Oil Firms Trading Company.
We normally buy our product from the NNPC and private airport owners. So it's just a similar things that they are doing now. So actually we are not against Dango to sell the product to the NNPC. At the NNPC will sell product to us. That one is not a problem. So all what we need, we went a situation whereby the time when NNPC is selling, let them sell it direct to us, not to tell us to go back to the private airport owners and collect the product from them again. We independent petroleum marketers, already we are used to buying product through the NNPC, and all what we are after in considering the rates when they are going to give us, they should try as much as possible and give us a good rate so that we can be able to sell to the motorists at a lower rate. Just like the way I understand that Dangote is giving them at the rate of 766 naira. So they too, they try and see how much are they going to sell in their retail outlet. So by the time when they are going to give us, they should give us the price that we can be able to compute with their retail outlets. Because from all indication, by God's grace, I know when we started the program, because we are buying in naira, not in dollar, and Dangote too is buying crude oil in naira, not in dollar. So we are expecting a lower rate at the end of the day, because the naira will appreciate, whereby the demand of the dollar will come down. And immediately once the demand of the dollar is down, we are expecting the naira to go up, which is good for the country.
That was the voice of President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Alhaji Abubakar Maigandi Garima. Moving away from that, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, Sarup, has filed a lawsuit against President Bola Tinubu, citing the government's inability to undo the rise in the price of gasoline at the pump. Disclosing this in a statement on Sunday, Sarup Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare said the lawsuit was filed by Sarup against the president's failure to probe the allegations of corruption and mismanagement in the NNPCL. The Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, the Minister of Justice and the NNPCL have joined the lawsuit as respondents. Welcome back. Following the nationwide distribution of conversion kits over the weekend, the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative has shifted into high gear. News Central visited the Ojota Conversion Center in Lagos, one of the designated hubs for the program, and witnessed firsthand the enthusiasm and activities surrounding the project. Igbalani Omoni reports.
At the Oshodi and Ojota Center, public and mass transit vehicle owners gathered to undergo inspection and conversion to compressed natural gas. The center's staff and technicians worked tirelessly to ensure a seamless process, addressing queries and concerns from vehicle owners.
We are carrying out an inspection of it to see if it's capable. It's a 4-plug engine that can be converted to CNG. The reason why I say it can be converted is because it has a manifold that we can connect our injectors to the system. Cost of implication is over $1 million plus.
But for this, the
federal government has actually subsidized it, and that is the reason why PCNGIs are here. You can see they handed over some kits to ROCs, and they say first come, first serve.
Some of our drivers have done it, and it's very, very far cheaper than the cost of fuel. because according to the beneficiaries, instead of fuel of 40,000, 45,000 naira per day, it came down to as low as 5,000, 6,000 naira for gas. That is why we are here.
By providing conversion kits and establishing a network of conversion centers, the government seeks to encourage vehicle owners to switch to cleaner, more affordable energy.
As part of our initiative, we have created the conversion incentive program geared towards ensuring that the CNG conversion is pushed out, especially through the mass transit and commercial vehicles routes. To kickstart or activate this, we have started off deploying 10,000 kits. We will start that over the next couple of weeks. We actually kickstarted that today with 1,000 kits going out to different locations in Ogun, Oyo, Kaduna, Abuja, and of course, Lagos.
According to officials, over 1,000 conversion kits have been distributed across the country, with more on the way.
We have called on various vehicles to come. Now these vehicles will be inspected, they'll be diagnosed. Now the vehicles that actually pass the test would be keyed into the system for the actual conversion. So if your vehicle doesn't pass the test, then it means you would need to step aside, and maybe if you have minor repairs to do, then you can go ahead and do that and wait for the next program.
Mr. President has said that we should convert 1 million cars between now and 2027. And we are on the right track.
As the initiative continues to gain traction, PCNG says Nigerians should expect improved air quality, reduced fuel cost, and a more sustainable transportation system. In Lagos for News Central, I am Igbalani Omani.
In the meantime, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has stressed that the only way to rescue Nigeria's economy is by putting an end to crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism. The governor made the remarks while receiving the new commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Rivers State Command, Oakin Okafor, at the government house. Fubara urged the new commandant to fully enforce the core mandate, particularly in combating economic sabotage in the Niger Delta region. Okafor, in response, pledged to collaborate with other security agencies and stakeholders to gather the intelligence necessary to tackle these issues and protect the nation's economic interest. To politics now, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has declared the upcoming September 21 governorship election a do-or-die affair, warning against any attempts to rig the poll. Speaking at the grand finale of the People's Democratic Party's campaign in Benin on Saturday, Obaseki emphasized that the election posed an existential threat. During the rally at Garrick Memorial Secondary School, the acting national chairman of the PDP, Ilia Damagun, also made a strong statement vowing that party members will defend their votes with blood. The Edo PDP had earlier refused to sign a peace accord, citing the illegal arrest and detention of its members. Tensions remain high, with both the PDP and APC accusing each other of inciting violence and engaging in vote buying ahead of the election. Officials of the Lagos State Fire and Rescue Services and the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency are currently attending to a fire outbreak at the Okobaba Plank Market in Ebutemeta area of the state. It was disclosed on Sunday that the fire also affected the shanties in the market. Lasema spokesman Nosa Okumbo confirmed the event in a brief WhatsApp message, stated that emergency personnel are conducting a search and rescue operation at the scene. Okumbo said the Lasema response team, that's the LRU fire unit, and also Lagos State Fire and Rescue Services are in search and rescue operation at Okobaba Plank Market by Ibadan Street, Ebutemeta. Let's now head to Zamfara State, where the government has commended the establishment of a new military command with headquarters to be stationed in Gusau, the state capital. The state government applauded the decision, which was made known by the Chief of Defense Staff following his visit to Gusau, the state capital. The Senior Special Assistant to the State Governor on Broadcast Media, Press and Public Affairs says that the command will cater for the special security needs of Katsina, Zamfara and Sokoto states, all domiciled in the northwest region. He says that the increased operational tempo of the military, which has led to the killing of several notorious terrorist commanders in the state, has brought some relief to citizens of the state.
Chief of Defense Staff, before meeting Chief of Army Staff. So it was based on his persistent call, persistent demand for the restoration of peace and security in Zamfara that warrant President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to send Chief of Army Staff. First, he was here early this year to see things for himself, and then of recent yesterday, General Christopher Musa, he came. He told Governor Dauda Lawal that he was in the state at the instance of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for him to come and establish a theater of operation in the northwest. They called Operation Fansanyama, the way, if I can vividly quote CDS right, he said the theater of operation will be situated in Gusau, Zamfara state capital. The commandant of the operation will be named, and then President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, approved the deployment of more personnel, more military personnel and equipment. The theater of operation will be sited in the next 2 weeks. We have started seeing the impact of his visit. Of recent, the military succeeded in killing a very notorious bandit kingpin by name Kachala Halil Sububu, who was the terrorist leader and gun runner in the northwestern part of the country. He was neutralized alongside his commanders of about 47 to 50 of them who were gunned down. All their, machines, motorcycles, their, guns, AK-47, RPGs, everything, were recovered from them.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has commended 2 senior security officials for their efforts in improving security across the FCT. The honorees, Assistant Inspector General of Police Benneth Igwe and Assistant Director General of the Department of State Services Adoma Azu, were recognized for their dedication and service. Igwe, the former Commissioner of Police for the FCT, was recently promoted to AIG, overseeing Zone 7, while Maazu, the former FCT State Director of DSS, has been promoted to Assistant Director General and transferred to the Service's National Headquarters. Speaking at a dinner held in their honor on Saturday in Abuja, Wike praised both officers for their relentless commitment to safeguarding residents, specifically highlighting Igwe's efforts in combating criminality in the FCT. Now, to update on the flood situation in Borno State, camps for displaced flood victims in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, are facing critical overcrowding as economic hardship drives more people to seek refuge. The National Emergency Management Agency is calling for urgent intervention to support the increasing number of displaced persons. News Central's Umari Kirawa completes the report.
This is Bakasi IDP camp, one of the largest sites currently home to over 26,000 people. More families continue to arrive daily, seeking shelter from the devastation.
Gwamnar askirin yana isuna ya andi aku salam dunai askirin yana amma amdoni kakari ba isana andi hangal ya daduna buri goda yan jim ku za kam ka andar tarin amma andi nam yana andi amde tron baro andi zuwa zain ba.
Local authorities are doing their best to address the immediate needs of the growing population, but resources are stretched thin and the challenges are immense.
This is an international catastrophe. We have never seen something of this magnitude here, and of course we are overwhelmed. Assistance is needed from all partners, the federal government, the state government, and any partner that can assist in bringing our people, removing our people from this distress, I think is needed presently, because there's still inadequate food, there's inadequate sanitary kits, there is still inadequate water supply. However, NEMA has sent in the water purifiers.
Hawa Mustafa, one of the flood victims, has come to the NEMA mobile clinic seeking medical care. Other patients also voiced frustration over the long wait times to receive medical attention at the camps. The influx of non-food victims has further strained already limited resources, leading to dire conditions including food shortages, inadequate sanitation, and a lack of medical supplies.
Despite ongoing challenges including damaged infrastructure and limited access to affected areas, rescue teams are working tirelessly to meet up with trapped individuals who are in distress. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Thank you, Umaru, for that report. Now, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has dismissed any plans by government to regulate the cost of house rent within the federal capital. The minister made this known during a visit to the largest quarry in West Africa, located at the Kubwa district, saying rent regulation will discourage investors who intend to support government's efforts aimed at providing housing for citizens. Amadin Uyi reports.
It was a visit to the largest quarry in West Africa, situated in the federal capital. The team, led by the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, took time to inspect operations and activities ongoing in the quarry. He expressed satisfaction at the work seen on ground, but reservations at the impact on the environment.
I would not lie to you, I'm really encouraged what I've seen. I'm really very encouraged. My only problem is the environmental impact assessment, which is said they are up to standard, they have no problems. I think it's my problem. Very, very, very.
The minister, however, says that his visit is not connected to housing plans and efforts aimed at tackling its cost within the capital.
There's never been a time that Nigerians have never complained about increasing rent. There's never been a time. Even as students, when I was in university, when we want to go and get maybe a self-contained at that time, and they say you should pay 100,000 naira a year. We also complain 100,000 a year. It's too high.
He dismissed plans of regulating the cost of house rent in the capital, saying government has no intention of doing so.
I don't agree with people who are always complaining about rent increase. There are all increases in everything today. So that should not be so good that you want us to make a law to say that a two-bedroom flat should not be more than 50,000 naira, for example, or 100,000 naira. I don't think you're encouraging the investors. That's not our major problem now.
The quarry, owned by Zabased, is located in the Kubwa district and has about 800 employees. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
The Secretary to the Federal Government, George Akume, has extended the well wishes and birthday greetings of President Tinubu to the Esama of Benin, Chief Igbenedion, on the occasion of the 90th birthday celebration. The President appreciated Chief Igbenedion's contributions to the development of Edo State and the nation at large, while wishing him good health and praying for his family. Also in attendance at the ceremony were former governors, diplomats, politicians, and several dignitaries.
Our great celebrant, Esama of Benin, accompanied by his special advisor and his major pillar of support, and indeed the entire members of the House of Ibinidium. Let me also recognize in a very special way the class of 1999 ably represented by His Excellency Lucky Ibinidium, former governor of Edo State, Governor James Sibori, former governor of Delta State, Governor Adebayo Ni Adebayo, governor of Ekiti State, Obam Victor Atta, former governor of Akwa Ibom, Hodeidah the Great, the former captain, former governor of Imo State, and this was the set that anchored the return of a country to presidential democracy in this year, Chief Foyegun, former governor of Edo State, members of the diplomatic community throughout your remarkable journey. Leadership has been made even stronger by their unwavering.
Coming up, 3 dead, 49 injured in Zagazig collision. We'll tell you more after the break. Join us again. Thank you for staying with us. Kapam Community, the community whose livelihoods and health was affected by chemical released from the Kaduna Refinery and Petrol Chemical Company, said they are yet to be compensated. The released chemical destroyed most farmlands, which remained the main livelihoods in the community. Now we cross over to Kapam Community in Kaduna with our correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu there live. Hello, Emmanuel. Thank you for joining us at this time. Can you give us an update of, the situation in Kapam at the moment, and how have the residents been affected by the toxic waste discharge from the refinery?
Yes, it's actually still feeling of lamentation, complaints, and of course expectations. Just with the chairman of the community, hello sir, who's going to give us an insight to what actually transpired. Hello sir, just tell us what really happened here. What's your name again, sir?
My name is Gideon.
Okay, your name is?
My name is Gideon Ilya.
Okay, tell us.
The community chairman of Kapam Community under Dubai. So what transpired in our community is just work on the date of 28th August. We discovered...
Oh, okay. So we're having issues with Emmanuel's network, but we'll try to reconnect with him for more insight on this. Away from that, tragedy struck in the northern Egypt on Saturday as 2 trains collided, killing 3 people, including 2 children, according to the health ministry and state media. The crash, which occurred in Zagazig, around 80 kilometers north of Cairo, left 49 others injured, the health ministry confirmed on social media. This is the latest in a series of deadly accidents plaguing Egypt's aging rail network, long criticized for its poor infrastructure and management. Egypt's state-owned newspaper Al Ahram confirmed that 2 children were among the fatalities. Transport Minister Kamil El-Waziri stated in a television interview that the cause of the crash was due to the human element, but further details would be left to security services to determine. He also confirmed there were no technical issues with the trains. With a population of 105 million, Egypt heavily relies on rail transport, but the network, one of the largest in Africa, has seen repeated accidents. In 2021, 2 major incidents within a month claimed the lives of over 40 people. Now on World Wrap, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has on Sunday warned Yemen's Houti rebels of retaliation after the group claimed a missile attack on central Israel. According to Netanyahu, during a cabinet meeting, the Houthis launched a surface-to-surface missile from Yemen into Israel's territory. He stated that Houthis should have known by now that Israel charged a heavy price for any attempts to harm them.
שיגרו טיל קרקע מתימן לשטחנו. הם כבר היו צריכים לדעת שאנחנו גובים מחיר כבד על כל ניסיון לפגוע בנו. מי שזקוק לתזכורת בעניין זה מוזמן לבקר בנמל חודיידה. כל מי שתוקף אותנו
French authorities have confirmed that 8 migrants died early Sunday when their overcrowded boat capsized while attempting to cross the channel from France to England. This tragedy comes less than 2 weeks after the deadliest such disaster this year. For years, both the French and British governments have worked to stem the flow of migrants who pay smugglers thousands of euros for the dangerous journey aboard small, overcrowded boats. Despite efforts to prevent the crossings, maritime authorities reported a surge in attempts over recent days, with 200 people rescued between Friday and Saturday alone. Earlier this month, at least 12 migrants, mostly from Eritrea, died when their boat capsized off the northern French coast.
Survenu vers 1h ce matin, au niveau des côtes d'Ambleteuse, où nous nous trouvons actuellement, avec le naufrage d'une embarcation de migrants. Le bilan est terrible, puisqu'on déplore le décès de 8 personnes. L'embarcation a pris la mer depuis le secteur de l'Aslac, à proximité de la commune de Vimereux, avec 59 personnes à son bord. Elle s'est rapidement trouvée en difficulté et est venue s'échouer au niveau de l'estran qui se trouve face à vous. Le bateau s'est manifestement déchiré sur les rochers. Dès l'annonce de l'événement, les secours ont été immédiatement mobilisés pour porter assistance aux naufragés. Le CROSS a ainsi engagé le navire Mink, déjà présent sur zone, ainsi que l'hélicoptère Dauphin pour rechercher d'éventuels naufragés en mer. Aucune autre victime n'a fort heureusement été découverte.
Yemen's Houthi rebels have claimed responsibility for a missile attack on central Israel just hours after the Israel military reported that a missile had landed in an open area with no injuries. In a video statement, Houthi spokesman Yahya Sari announced that the rebels had targeted a military position of the Israeli enemy in the Jafar area using a ballistic missile. He claimed the missile successfully reached its target, adding that the enemy's defenses failed to intercept it. There has been no immediate response from Israeli authorities regarding the Houthi claims.
نفذت القوة الصاروخية في القوات المسلحة اليمنية بعون الله تعالى عملية عسكرية نوعية استهدفت من خلالها هدفا عسكريا للعدو الإسرائيلي في منطقة يافا في فلسطين المحتلة، وقد نفذت العملية بصاروخ باليستي جديد فرط صوتي نجح بعون الله في الوصول إلى هدفه، وأخفقت دفاعات العدو في اعتراضه والتصدي له، وقطع مسافة تقدر ب2040 كيلومتر في غضون 11 دقيقة ونصف الدقيقة، وتسبب في حالة من الخوف والهلع في أوساط الصهاينة، حيث توجه أكثر من 2 مليون صهيوني إلى الملاجئ، وذلك لأول مرة في تاريخ العدو الإسرائيلي. إن هذه العملية تأتي في إطار المرحلة الخامسة وجاءت تتويجا لجهود.
When we come back after the break, we'll tell you how heavy rainstorm nears Shanghai. Stay with us. Chinese authorities have prepared for heavy rain on Sunday as a strong typhoon approached the country's heavily populated eastern seaboard. According to the Beijing's Emergency Management Ministry, Typhoon Bebinka is expected to make landfall along a swath of coastline, including the megacity of Shanghai, between Sunday night and Monday morning. The ministry, in a statement on Saturday, said the storm would cause heavy to torrential downpours with local heavy or extremely heavy rainstorms between Sunday and Tuesday. The Emergency Management Ministry said officials must pay close attention to the development of the typhoon and adds that many people will be traveling, mobility will be high, and safety risks will be prominent. In business, the Salaam Stock Exchange PLC has expressed concern over the negative impacts of cross-listed companies on shareholder wealth and the underperformance of its benchmark index. In 2023, DSE's total market capitalization dropped 7% to 14.61 trillion Tanzanian shillings. That's approximately $5.35 billion, driven by falling prices of cross-listed stocks such as KCB, EABL, and Jubilee Holdings. This decline mirrored a 7% drop in the Tanzania All-Share Index to 1,750.63 points. Despite these losses, domestic market capitalization increased 3% to 11.4 trillion Tanzanian shillings, which is approximately $4.18 billion, with the domestic share index rising 11%. Analysts urge or argue that the slump in cross-listed firms is company-specific and temporary, emphasizing the need for improved liquidity and trading infrastructure in regional stock markets. Let's head to sports now, where Nigeria's junior D Tigers star Iduba Mobegi has been named to be the all-star team following her performance in the just concluded Under-18 Afro Basketball Championship in Pretoria. Junior D Tigers reached the final of the championship, with Begi stamping her authority in every game. The organizers of the championship announced the list of all-star team, with Begi featuring prominently on it. Winner of the championship, Mali, produced two players, Mama Sidiki Doumbia and Wamu Komare. Cameroon and Angola have one player each, Damaris Emedi and Resti Nanagwe. After preparations and training of officials, the proposed video assistant referee, that's VAR, officially made its debut in the Mauritania League. The Federation of Mauritania Football announced at the end of the last season that VAR will be in use from the coming season. The league started on Saturday, and the VAR was present at the Cheka Boidia Stadium in the game between AS Guard and XAR. The fans at the stadium were excited following the development and when the center decided to consult VAR for clarification. Mauritania joined the rest of the countries in the continent that introduced the equipment into the league. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, here's another look at some of our top stories. We told you that #RevolutionNow leader Sowore squeezed and released by DSS at MMIA. We also told you that marketers demand direct access to Dangote Refinery products. Finally, you heard that 3 dead, 49 injured in Egypt's Zagazig train collision. Send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Dashen, Usman.